This evening is really the culmination of the Miss Universe pageant. During the past week, we've had preliminary events in which the judges gave scores to the contestants in each of our 3 categories of competition. Right now, at our special computer central, Helen is waiting to tell us what happened.
Well, we've had our preliminary judging and personal interview, swimsuit, and evening gown competitions, and the scores were put into our computer here. The 12 girls with the highest average scores in the 3 categories will be our semifinalists. Coming up, we'll have some views of Korea as part of our swimsuit fashion show. Bob?
Thank you. As each contestant appears on the screen, you'll see the score she received in the swimsuit preliminaries. Then, after the fashion show, to those preliminary swimsuit scores, we'll add their preliminary scores in personal interviews and evening gown competition. The girls with the 12 highest scores will be our semifinalists. Now, wearing the latest in Catalina swimwear, here are our gorgeous young women shown against the beautiful backdrop of the Korean countryside. Behind Seoul's Cheongdak Palace is a tranquil woodland called the Secret Gardens. By one of its many ponds, we see Miss Venezuela, Marge Brandt, and Miss Mexico, Ana Nunez. Next in the beautiful setting comes Miss Colombia, Maria Arbeláez, and Althea Rock, Miss Trinidad Tobago. This beautiful Asian scene welcomes 2 Asian beauties, Miss Singapore, An Chua, and Felicia Yong, Miss Malaysia. Then from opposite sides of the Atlantic, Yolanda Vegas, Miss Spain, and Miss British Virgin Islands, Barbara Stephen. These brilliant colors are on the stylized overhang of a Secret Gardens pagoda, where we meet Miss St. Martin, Lucy Maria Davis, and the girl's choice is the friendliest contestant, Devon Watler, Miss Cayman Islands, Rosario Silayan, Miss Philippines, and Miss Sweden, Eva Andersson, followed by 2 Scandinavian beauties, Sirpa Viljama, Miss Finland, and Miss Norway, Maken Nielsen. And in still another part of the Secret Gardens, here are Miss Guadalupe, Lady Degage, and Dina Aportadero, Miss Guam. Milagros Eraman is Miss Dominican Republic, and Miss Reunion is Miros Waro. Miss Panama, Gloria Carmenites, and Etelbina Raudales, Miss Honduras. The Korean countryside has many lovely waterfalls, and it is in front of one of them that we find Miss Bermuda, Jill Lorraine Murphy. Here she is. And Agnes Tanya, Miss Puerto Rico. Here are Brigitte Billen. She's Miss Belgium. And Miss England, Julie Duckworth. And before we leave the waterfall, here are Miss France, Brigitte Choquet, and Darlene Cecilia Davis, Miss Bahamas. This fountain celebrates a warrior of Korea's Shilla dynasty of well over 1,000 years ago. He's a majestic backdrop for some of our contestants like Miss Costa Rica, Barbara Bonilla, and Manny Kukuruku Lasseria, Miss Sri Lanka. Here are Ligia Martinez, Miss Guatemala, and Miss Scotland, Linda Gallagher. Miss Tahiti is Raina Fuller. Here she is. And Hassana Hamoud is Miss Carissa. Eveline Schroeder is Miss Brazil. And Miss USA, Sean Nichols Weatherly. Gyeongju is known as Korea's culture city and was the capital for almost 1,000 years. Now it's a resort with a huge man-made lake and a marina that was visited by our girls, including Miss Ecuador, Veronica Rivas, and Wanda Tai, Miss Hong Kong. Here are Miss Uruguay, Beatriz Antunes, and Miss Photogenic, Delise Knottle, Miss New Zealand. Maria Campuzano is Miss Chile, and Miss Iceland is Gavud Bjorg Sigurda Doctor. Miss Australia, Katrina Rendina, and Miss Canada, Terry McKay. On the grounds of a resort hotel in Gyeongju, we find Miss Japan, Hisai Hiyama, and Unchong Kim, Miss Korea. From the Caribbean come Miss Aruba, Magali Maduro, and Deborah Martinborough, Miss U.S. Virgin Islands. Laurie Del Santo is Miss Italy, and Miss Wales is Kim Ashfield. Miss Holland, Karen Huyer, and Silvia Piedrabuena, Miss Argentina. At the Gyeongwei-ru Pavilion, we find Miss India, Sangeeta Bijlani, and Isabel Mueller, Miss Austria. Here are Margriet Kilchor, Miss Switzerland, and Miss Greece, Rula Kanilopoulou. Miss Belize is Ellen Marie Clark, and Liseth Figueroa is Miss Peru. Artitya Promukun, Miss Thailand, and Angelina Chang, Miss Northern Marianas. Miss Israel is Ilana Shoshan, and Sonia Pereira is Miss Bolivia. Gyeongbok Palace, which was the home of Korea's rulers for 200 years, also includes this pavilion called Hyangwon, where we find Miss Paraguay, Marta Romagnac, and Miss Ireland, Maura McMenamin. Heyajan Kyorkola, Miss Turkey, and Miss Turks and Caicos Islands, Constance Lightbourne. Miss Denmark is Jane Bill, and Isabel Zamet is Miss Malta. And finally, Miss Germany, Catherine Glutzel, and Mispa Alwyn, Miss Papua New Guinea. From the traditional Korean pagoda and an ornate wooden bridge on the grounds of Seoul's magnificent Gyeongbok Palace, here are our contestants for the title of Miss Universe 1980, waving to us all.
Down to 69 here tonight, and that 69 is going to become 12 when we come back after this word from all temperature cheer.